Yo guys, what is up? Time for another video by FPL Formulaic. So we just get straight into it. Right, so 10 players to avoid. That's what we're doing today. First one on the list is João Pedro. Just signed for Chelsea, 7.5, about 60% owned. He's the most owned player in FPL, and honestly, I have no clue why. Right, so last year he played 1,975 minutes at Brighton, so obviously a different club, which is approximately 21-ish matches. Um, so compared to other players who have played more like 32, 33, his data is a little bit less trustworthy, but only a little bit less. And then also when you factor in the fact that that was also not at Chelsea, that was at a different club, then that makes his data virtually useless. Um, so yeah, that's the first reason I don't like him, because obviously we like to do things based on data here at FPL Formulaic, and that isn't really ideal. So second reason I don't like him, which is quite a big one, is the fact that I think people are forgetting that Liam Delap has signed for Chelsea, and I think people are forgetting even more that Nicholas Jackson is still at Chelsea and isn't going anywhere. Um, So bear in mind that yeah, you can also play on the wings, but then on the wings you've got even more players like Pedro Neto. You've got Nkunku can play on the wings. Um, yeah, it's just not really great. People, I mean, this data here 0.40 and 0.26. That's not bad, um, and also good BPS, but that's assuming he plays 90 minutes every match. And realistically, he's just not gonna. He'll play 60 every match maximum. So that's the main reason I don't like him. And also, of course, um, and also the final reason I don't like him is because there are players that are actually just as good as him that are going to get about the same amount of points as him at the same price as him. And I'm talking about Chris Wood, who the spreadsheet reckons will get literally the same amount of points as him, and Jean-Philippe Mateta, again, going to get the same amount of points. So why would you take the risk with João Pedro, who probably won't get 90 minutes, when you could go for these two that will get 90 minutes? Um, so, yeah, just don't see why you pick him, really. Right. The next thing, sorry, what am I right? The next player we're going to is Florian Wirtz. Right. Now, the issue I have with this player is that his data is really not that good. So you've got 0.33 and 0.28 Premier League adjusted XG and XA per 90. It's got Premier League adjusted here because it's been slightly lowered based from what his Bundesliga data was last year to accommodate for the fact that he's moving to a more difficult league. And generally, data shows that the Premier League is about 17% harder. I think it was 17% harder than the Bundesliga. So his data has been lowered there. So, but not by much really. And then you've also got his defensive contributions, which are quite low. And you've got fixture rating, which is also like not great, 0.95. That's below the average. The average is 1 because that's how it's calculated. So that means his fixtures are worse than average. So not really great. And then overall, that means that's why he comes up to about 32 points, which compared to other midfielders is it's not great, really. I'll just show you now. So you got like let's find him first. Oh, there we go. Florian Wirtz. So right, you got Morgan Gibbs White, a million cheaper. He's also now going to be staying at Forest. He signed a new contract and going to get the same amount of points. Why wouldn't you just go for Gibbs White? You've got Bren Johnson probably won't play, so we'll ignore him. We've got Eberechi Eze. Well, not that I really like that pick either because he's quite more expensive. I don't like either of these picks, Gibbs White or Eze, because 7.5 is still quite expensive, but that's still way cheaper than 8.5. But people are out here saying Works is cheap. Yeah, I don't think so. Illiman and Dye is cheap, 6.5. Ismail Assar is cheap, 6.5. Both higher. They're going to get, I think it's 33, nearly 34 for Sar. And then keep going up. You've got Madueke, probably won't play, so you can ignore him. Madison, I like that. If you've got point 0.5 kicking around and you want to upgrade in Dye or Sar, upgrade into Madison. Diaz, who has now joined um, Bayern Munich, so I've got to delete him from this. And then we've also got these are the picks that I love. These two, both of my team, Atara, Gakpo. They're way higher and they're way cheaper. So really, don't go with words. Next, we've got AWB, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Right. Why is anyone picking this person? He is the top owned defender, around 30% owned. And if you've got him in your team, try explain why you've picked him because I don't understand. XG per 90, 0.04. That's just pretty much non-existent. XA per 90, 0.12. That's pretty okay, pretty decent for a fullback, but still not great. And then BPS per 90, 0.43. That's pretty mid. Defense contribution 0.85. That's not great. And then fixture rating for defending is probably the only thing that saves him really. And then expected clean sheets again, not great for West Ham at all. They were a poor defense last year, and obviously they were under a different manager. They've got Potter now, but will he make a difference? We don't know yet. We're gonna have to wait till game week 6. So yeah. And then overall that brings his total to 27, which isn't great. Which isn't great, but that's kind of why, that's kind of why I'm saying he's not a great pick, and I don't really understand why people are going for him. And obviously, people are saying he's going to be way better under Potter. I'll I'll pick him when I see that. I'm not picking him based on the hope that he'll be better under Potter when I don't actually know. And I just think there's better 4.5s out there. I'll try and show a few examples just quickly. Gay, easy. Probably not going to go to Liverpool now. He's good 4.5. Pinnock, he is Brentford though, so I'd be a little bit cautious. Maguire probably won't play, so we'll ignore. Marco Sensei, that's probably my second best behind Gay. Gay's in my team at the minute, so yeah. And if you want to know where Wan-Bissaka is, I'm gonna have to scroll down quite a lot. There he is, 181, very low down. And the likes of Gay, they're going to get 31 points, while he's only going to get 27, which doesn't seem like much of a difference. But 4 points in FPL, 4 points difference, say on every player, that is a big difference. Kudos. Yeah, I don't like this pick. Another one. If you can explain why you want to pick him, then sure. But I have no clue. XG per 90, 0.25 for a mid, that's okay. It's not great, but his XA per 90 is ridiculously bad. For a midfielder, 0.13. That is literally the same as Aaron Wan-Bissaka's, and he's a defender. So, not great. BPS per 90, even worse, 0.17. That's just ridiculous. And then defense contributions, pretty much too low to be relevant. And then the fixture rating is his only saving grace. Really, I put it in yellow. It's probably say it's in green. I think that's a bit unfair. And then 26 points expected over the game week 1/6. Now you may be seeing game week 1 6.68, and you might be thinking, "Oh, that's really good." But yeah, that is literally just game week 1 because they're playing Burnley. No other reason why it's that high, and all his other games because I've got data for all of them. I'm gonna scroll down and find him because he is really not very good. There you go. All his other games, as you'll see, 4, 3, 4.1, 3.8, 3.64, and then the 6.68. So don't be fooled by it. That's what I'm saying. And then you've also got the fact that he's just moved to Tottenham. So that essentially makes his data much less trustworthy, much less reliable. So yeah, I don't see why I'd pick him really. Oh, what am I doing? Next, Ezri Concert in Goyo, defender. Um, his XG is terrible and his XA is terrible. So he's a pure centre back, out and out. And his BPS per 90, 0.31. Yeah, not great. And his defensive contributions per 90, honestly ridiculous. I think that's lower than Kudus. That's lower than Aaron Masaka. I think that's about as many as Florian Wirtz. I mean, for a defender, I just don't see why. I'm guessing it's because Aston Villa have got quite a good midfield, so they probably defend before it has to come down to centre backs like Konza, like Mings. Um, but yeah, it's just very low, and that's kind of the only thing that would. That's probably why people are picking him under the false idea that he's going to get lots of defensive contributions. He's not. Fixture rating, yeah, it's okay, but the damage has already been done. And clean sheets, they're not saving him here. Very bad pick. Expected 20 points, and yet he's extremely highly owned. I don't get why. Right, next, Morgan Rogers. XG per 90, 0.23, XA per 90, 0.23. Both kind of average. BPS average. Defense contributions, not bad considering he's quite attacking, but they're pretty much irrelevant considering they're that low. And then his fixtures are literally one, they're virtually one, so they're on the average. So expected points 4.34. Yeah, for game week one, it's not great. I mean, they've got Newcastle, so what to expect? And then expected game week one 6.27. So he's not a good pick, mainly because his XG is weaker than it should be, and it's on the same level as his XA, but he's meant to be quite an attacking midfielder, so you'd expect it to be higher. And then his BPS doesn't really help him either, and his fixtures also don't really save him. So yeah, it's just kind of people think he's more attacking than he is, and his XG is poor. Realistically, he overperformed massively on his numbers from last year. Next, Jared Bowen, another player that I have literally no clue how he's highly owned. He's been moved from a mid to a forward, which means less points. And he's also 8 mil for some reason, which just seems ridiculous. Uh, so, yeah, his XG per 90 was 0.3 last year, and his XA per 90 0.23. And then I've put to the right of that the adjusted data, which I calculated myself based on the matches that he played from when he was a forward last year, just to see if it was more fair. And yeah, his XG is higher by a little bit, but his XA is also lower, so it kind of balances out anyway. So yeah, and then his BPS is okay, and his defense contributions are too low to be relevant, really, but not bad for a forward. And then fixed rating average, like all these players we looked at. And then expected points game week one, yeah, 5. Don't really matter. It's only game week one, and then game week 1 to 6, 27. So yeah, what do I think about him? There's better options. I've already showed you Wood, Mateta. I mean, I'd rather João Pedro than him, really. But yeah, for him to be a good pick, his XG would have had to have been at least 0.4 or 0.5. But it's not. It's only 0.3 or 0.35. So yeah, avoid Jared Bowen. Please don't pick Jared Bowen, seriously. Mark Cucurella. Right. XG 0.09. XA per 90. That 0.5. I find that quite unlikely. I think I've meant to put 0.05, but I'll just check. You spelled Cucurella. What? Well, that's good. I don't know why it didn't work. Well, I'll just scroll down. Ah, there we go. Yeah, 0.05. My bad. Yeah. 0.09, 0.05 XA. And then BPS, yeah, not great. And then defense contributions quite poor considering he's a vendor. And so anyway, people are saying this guy's meant to be attacking, but he's not got a single one of the XG or XA above 0.1. So what I'm saying is he's massively overperformed his attacking data from last year, massively. Um, and so that's basically the whole reason I'd say he's quite a bad pick. And then clean sheets kind of saved him a little bit, gets him that 25 points. But yeah, also Chelsea, people talk about Chelsea having good fixtures. They've got good fixtures for attackers, but for defending, Crystal Palace quite a decent team for defending. West Ham not so much. Fulham decent for defending. Brentford, well, it's going off of data from last year when they had Thomas Frank, so they were good at defending last year. But obviously now you don't know. But and then Man United and Brighton okay for defending, so that's why the fixture rating is not as high. People expect Chelsea to have like, or thought they had really good fixtures, but they don't really. For attacking, they do, but not for defending. Anyway, and Burmo. Now, the reason this guy is an avoid is actually nothing to do with his data, funnily enough. Um, because his data is actually good, and he was even in my team. But then I saw a lot of people talking about how his data kind of tricks you in the way that he got 20 goals last year, but only five of them were penalties. And he's not going to get penalties at Man United because Bruno Fernandes takes those. So that's going to damage his XG per 90 massively. And that kind of hinders him as what would have been a good pick, as kind of I wouldn't recommend, as I've put there. And so that also would damage his bonus points per 90. So it kind of takes down everything. And then when you bear in mind the risk that comes with a transferred player, especially at that cost, it just makes him into quite a not a great pick that you'd want to go for. And then when you've also got players at a similar price that are less risky, better. So you've got Bruno, well, I'd say a similar price. Bruno Fernandes is a million more. It's probably not the best example. But then you've got Gakpo 7.5 cheaper. You've got Cunha. I like that pick. People always talk about Mbeumo and Cunha as avoids, but they only ever explain why Mbeumo is an avoid, but they never really, they just kind of chuck Cunha's name in amongst them. But I think Cunha's a perfectly good pick, if I'm honest. So yeah, don't go for Mbeumo, go for Cunha, or just go for Tango Watara. I don't know why no one picks him. Anyway, on to the next one. And I believe the last one, Erling Haaland, right. Why is he a bad pick? His date is fine. Yeah. I mean, it's not as good as previous years. Last year, he was on like, what was it? I think it was one. His XG per night was like over one, which was ridiculous. But this year, it's to damage 0.78. It's good, don't get me wrong. But for 14 million, I mean, are you joking? For 0.5 more, you get Salah. And look, I'll show you now. When you compare Salah and Haaland, it's ridiculous. So you've got Salah, right? Expected to get 50 points. And I'll show his XG quickly. 0.74 and 0.42. That is because of the XA carries a little bit, yeah. But I mean, when you've got Haaland at 0.78, Salah's a little bit below, but ridiculously higher on XA, then obviously he's going to get 50. But yeah, that is ridiculously high. And then you've got Haaland sitting at 38. For 0.5 more, you get Salah. And realistically, you can't afford Salah and Haaland in the same team. So for that reason, I'd just say you can't pick Haaland. Right, I think, yeah, the last one. Okay, well, anyway, thanks for watching this video. The spreadsheet will be in the description once again. So yeah, access it. It's free, completely free. Um, and yeah, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, hit the subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when my videos are coming out. I should be making videos more regularly now because I've come back from my short holiday. So expect the video tomorrow, day after. Yeah. Anyway, cheers, guys. See ya.